Today, my friends, we're going to teach you guys how to use the Yeti Smash at Town Hall 13. We're going to be showing you guys how to use it with the new Siege Barrack and Pekkas and, of course, the Yetis as well. We're going to take a look at all of this and more from PlayMakersGaming. Let's go ahead and teach you guys the Yeti Smash. So you're here to learn how you guys can use the Yeti Smash here at Town Hall 13. Well, this video has got you covered. Now, you may already notice with this attack is that, of course, it looks like your standard. However, when we play it, you're going to see a wall wrecker instead of the Siege Barrack. Why would you use that instead of the Siege Barrack? Well, the main reason to why is instead the CC has something different than just the hogs that you typically see. However, what we've got is going to be a wall wrecker. Now, why would you ever want to use the wall wrecker? Well, if we take a look at where the town hall is, because that's what we use with the wall wrecker, and don't worry, we're going to be taking a look at other attacks with the Siege Barrack and the Yeti Smash. So just for you guys to be safe, don't worry, we're going to see some of those. But this first one is going to be a little bit different, something really interesting. I haven't seen it before, and I bet you guys haven't either. But the Quad Quake, just remember that if you're going to use it early, look for as much value and look to open a lot of compartments. If we actually take a look at the core of this base, if I zoom in here, let's take a look at that. Look at that entire core. We can take advantage of how these compartments are sized. They're really long. By opening this entire area up, we're able just to get both multi-infernos. Like, if we place the earthquake right about here, that's where we would place it, we would be able to open up both of the multi-infernos. We're going to open up almost this entire core area, just allowing us to get a lot of value from there. Now, you may be asking as well, now, what about the wall wrecker? Is it just going to go straight through here? No, what's going to happen is it's going to pop around here, allowing them for the P.E.K.K.A. and I believe there might have been a bowler or an ice golem within there that was also going to provide support for the attack. So that means that we've now got like 5 P.E.K.K.A.s going in and 4 Yetis going in as well. Now, you notice that the heroes are also maxed, but that is going to be completely fine. But still, to give you an idea, the main reason to why we're hitting from behind or away from the town hall is because we're trying to go out for the all-out 3-star. We're not going into the town hall. That's an easy 2. But with that being said, we're looking for value from the opposite side of the town hall, meaning that we would use a jump spell over here on top of this scatter shot in order to get into the last multi-inferno and get the town hall. That's the main idea with this attack. Since multi-inferno towers are usually something that is definitely something to take out, I would highly recommend maybe trying to bring in that wall wrecker, since it can get you some sort of value if you use it correctly. Now, you'll see from this is that the Quad Quake went down and we are now creating the funnel. But you can see with the Quad Quake, look at that value, like I said, opening up both multi-inferno compartments and basically opening up the core of the base. That's really, really easy here. Now, you may already notice that we've now got the funnel set. We've got the heroes moving in. We even have a Valkyrie there to help. We have some bowlers, and we also have the Royal Champion and the rest of the heroes going in. Now, speaking of the Yeti Mites, the Yeti Mites here are really going to be used in order to support everything going in. Since they do a lot of DPS on those defenses, it will really allow us to get through a lot of different base designs, since, of course, those things do ×4 damage to defensive buildings, meaning that what we've got is and they're pretty tanky at that too, but we not just have a tank, but we have a tank that spawns some somewhat tanky units that do 4 times damage to defenses, meaning that we can still get through a lot of buildings or a lot of defenses with those Yeti Mites. But you'll see that the main reason that we attacked from the opposite side was to make sure that we're getting rid of 2 multi-infernos, and then we'll get the other one with the Royal Champion, and also with the jump as well to get to the town hall. And that's really all about this attack. Now, of course, this is something that I haven't seen, definitely something a little bit different with the wall wrecker. I'm usually I usually really like using the Siege Barrack. I'm more inclined to use that, and also just to see it a lot more. I'm a lot more comfortable seeing that than I am seeing the Wall Wrecker or anything else. Now the Stone Slammer, on the other hand, I'm okay with, as the Stone Slammer isn't a bad siege to use in this case, since it is actually one of the more staple attacks using a smash attack. That just means that using that siege machine is usually going to be a really good idea. Now let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see a siege barrack or a siege machine guide, and I will try to bring that one for you guys. It's definitely something that I really wanted to try and do, and just bring out my own knowledge into it and give it to you guys, and also taking a look at a couple different attacks that work really well with each of those. So let's go ahead and move on to the next example with the Yeti Smash. So here we go, we've got another example, and this one has a single Inferno, but notice that we are using the Siege Barrack, so don't worry, we are still using it. But what we're doing it with this is we want to make sure that we are creating the funnel. Notice that there is a dead zone here right by the town hall. We can take advantage of this because that gives us access to a lot of compartments from just that portion. Now you may notice, why are we not going towards a single Inferno? Well, we don't want to deal with it. We're using P.E.K.K.A.s, bowlers, and we've got some hogs in there as well. So do we really want to deal with the single? Probably not. So we want to make sure that we are trying to avoid it. But remember, we have also got the Yeti Mites, and those Yeti Mites can still do something in order to deal with the single Inferno. Now we don't just have that, but we also have the Royal Champion that can also deal with that. Even though it's going to be really risky, we do have Yeti Mites that can still do a lot of work to it. So to keep that in mind, maybe try out to use the Yeti Mites in order to take out a single Inferno if you guys see a lot of them. Now remember, it's going to be all depending on how they're being placed. So keep that in mind, because single Infernos are definitely a little bit more rampant. Let me know if you guys want to see a video on attacking single target Infernos, and I will try to bring it to you guys, not just at Town Hall 13, but also at Town Hall 11, 12, and also 13. So that is just what, with that being said, for myself, it's, you got to deal with those type of Infernos just in a different way. So that's where, in my personal opinion, those Yeti Mites really come into play very, very handy. But of course, with this attack, very simple. It really doesn't take all too long to get a 3-star with this type of an attack. But this attack is really strong, bringing in the Valkyrie to support the bowlers in behind and the Yetis and P.E.K.K.A.s. Those Yetis and P.E.K.K.A.s do a lot of damage, and they work really well together in order to create a nice synergy with the rest of the attack. So let's go ahead and take a look at another example with this attack. Now, you may already be asking me, there's another Wall Wrecker? No. Instead, it's going to be the Siege Barrack. That's why we're going to be using the jump really early to get ourselves right into the base. We want to propel ourselves right into this multi-Inferno. We want to use the Quad Quake a little bit away from the Town Hall, so we want to make sure that we are still getting value. So by Quad Quaking this area here, this gives us access to all 3 Inferno towers. Well, it gives us access to the last 2 multi-Infernos. So that then what we can do is we can start sending everything into the base. But remember, we want to be patient. We want to make sure that we are sending everything in. We also want to make sure that we are still getting value from our Quad Quake. We have the Royal Champion going in with the bowlers. We have them going in the opposite direction, while the P.E.K.K.A.s and the Yetis do a lot of work going through the rest of it. Making sure that they can get some sort of value is always going to be extremely important. The Yeti Mites, on the other hand, getting a lot of value as they are able to jump over those walls and deal a lot of damage. Now, in terms of what we had in that Siege Barrack, it wasn't hogs. And you may be a little bit surprised to hear that, but we did have a P.E.K.K.A. within that Siege Barrack, meaning that we can also still create some sort of funnel on the opposite side and still get some sort of value from there. We can act on it as cleanup, as this is something that isn't necessarily much said about the Siege Barrack, that it doesn't always need to be filled with hogs in order to be a really successful attack. Instead, it can be used as cleanup, and then it can meet up with the rest of the attack and do a lot of damage. That's really where this attack can shine a lot. Now, you may notice as well is that some of the attacks could also have the Warden Walk. If you choose to do the Warden Walk, feel free. You want to mainly use it though as a funneling unit. So then what you're able to do is funnel your entire attack and not waste many P.E.K.K.A.s. That way you can still get some sort of value from the base. Just remember that you want to make sure that the king is away from your Grand Warden so that then your king doesn't steal the healers. So let's go and take a look at another example with this attack. Now, we are going to be using the Siege Barrack yet again, but we also want to make sure that we are creating our funnel. So making sure that we are using the P.E.K.K.A.s in order to create that funnel is really important. Now, nothing new in terms of this replay, as it's very similar to the other ones. Making sure that we're creating the funnel, make sure that we're sending everything in as, you know, as we do with everything. We have the Siege Barrack going in as well, the Valkyrie and all that going in. So nothing different from the other examples, nothing like with the Wall Wrecker or anything like that. However, what we are trying to make sure that we're doing is to get that queen right over to the CC, and not just that, but also over to that town hall. You notice that the wizards are now going to be targeting onto it, meaning that now we don't really have too much to target other than the Yeti mites. However, with that being said, we aren't using a quad quake either. This is something a little bit different. It's triple jump. Yeah, we're bringing 3 jump spells in this attack. Not 2, but 3. We've got a triple jump where this can still work very consistently. Well, maybe inconsistently, but it can still work very well. Considering that you're not going to be bringing many spells for the Yetis, this really is going to be base dependent. So it's going to determine on whether or not how the base is designed, and not just that, but also it's going to determine on the jump value. Triple jump value is really easy to get, but you also want to make sure that you are looking at the compartment sizes in order to correctly assume where the jump spells can control the pathing of your entire attack. So this is really where you can use a triple jump. It's something a little bit different than just using a jump and quad quake. Instead, you can actually take that housing space and instead actually use 3 jumps instead of a jump and 4 earthquake spells, which usually is going to take up 2 or 4 spell slots in terms of, you know, single slots. So it is going to take up 2 big spell worth of spell space. But of course, with this attack, you guys can really try anything. This is really good to experiment with, as this is a really strong strategy that I've seen a lot of variation on. I've seen it with 12 quakes. I've seen it with triple jump. I've seen it with the wall wrecker. There's a lot of different ways of doing this attack, and you can be really successful with it. So with that being said, let's go and take a look at another example, and our last example with this attack. Now, this is going to be our last one, and you may already notice here is that there is a Warden Walk. Like I said in a previous example, the Warden Walk is a great unit with this attack. Making sure that we are going to be able to get a funneling value from the base is what's really important. So with this attack, you really want to try and make sure that you are getting value from the funnel with the Warden. Now, you may be already saying, what about getting an Inferno or something like that? Well, you don't actually have to do it. You just have to create the funnel. That's really where the Warden Walk shines, since it can really take out buildings relatively quickly. Unlike a lower level Grand Warden, you should be able to get through a lot of different base designs and get some help with that Warden Walk. Now, you already will notice is that we, of course, creating the funnel, nothing new here. However, you'll notice 7 Yetis instead of just 4. So we are going to be seeing something different. Now, with this attack, as the Yetis move into the base, we're using a jump that gets us this entire compartment. But not just that, but as we're moving in this direction, we want to open up this area here with the quad quake, so then we're directing all of our Yetis, bowlers, and P.E.K.K.A.s along with a few of our heroes to move into the base in order to get some value. Now we have enough rage spells as they move in through the base. once they've gotten a little bit deeper, we can use a quad quake that'll give us access to 2 multi-infernos. You may have already guessed, just like the first example where the quad quake was being used to get 2 multi-infernos. That's really where this is going to shine a lot. Now, we have the hogs from that siege barrack going in. We don't have a heal for them, but we do have the royal champion that will move in with those hogs in order to get some sort of value. So even if they get completely destroyed by the scatter shot, we're going to be completely fine because we still have the royal champion and her ability. Now, with that being said as well, we still want to try and make sure that we are getting her chain value with that seeking shield. So make sure that we are weakening some of those defenses and or just dealing a lot of damage. But she can really clear up a lot of this and actually clean up the rest of the base thanks to her ability to jump over walls and already target defenses. But with that being said, guys, that is going to do it for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed and learned something here at Town Hall 13 with the Yeti Smash. I know you guys really enjoy Yetis here at Town Hall 13, so I will try to bring more out here for you guys. Not just that, but let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see some Town Hall 12 Yetis. I'll bring it to you guys. Also, feel free to go ahead and join my community Discord and also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Also, feel free to go ahead and subscribe to PlayMakersGaming. My version of the video is going to be up there, so feel free to go ahead and check that out. And also, check out the previous video that I did at Town Hall 11. Feel free to go ahead and check that one out. It'll be, I believe it was the one I did yesterday, of course. So definitely check that one out. And also, not just that, but also feel free to join any of the clans I'm covering in the description below. But with that being said, that's going to do it, guys, for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.